My name is Taiwan Ajobi. I'm 39 and I'm an enterprise risk and resilience consultant.
My name is Reverend Akajiboye. I am a pastor. I pastor the Church Christ Compassion Ministry in Nigeria.
My name is Olusegun. I'm 30 years old. I'm a product manager.
My name is Iria Kimberly. I'm 17 and I'm a recent graduate from high school.
For me, I think the day I realized that probably I'm no longer a young adult, I'm not becoming a man, was the day my mom called me to ask me for an advice. And then it dawned on me that, okay, I want to advise someone that gave birth to me. So I am probably in a position of a man right now. And whatever I say will determine how, my experiences have shaped me, as a young adult at that point in time. So it just dawned on me that, okay, at this point in time, you're a man and you have to talk as a man. So yeah, that was
So for me, I'll probably go the exact way based on his own concept of moving from being a young adult to probably becoming a much older adult where you are probably taking on responsibilities and nobody's really checking on you, asking if you have money. I think for me it was when I was about to go for NYS, and for the first time I noticed that I was practically on my own. So from NYC, I noticed that nobody was going to be giving me monthly allowances anymore. I was responsible for taking decisions on my own. I was responsible to find a way to start saving. And even though it was not as if it was the best experience during NYC, I didn't have the best jobs. But it was clear that there were maybe mild conversations with my parents around, we are done with school, we've done our own parts. Now you have already started your journey on your own. You are completely on your own. So at that point in time, I can say, all the skills that they have taught me, how to start saving aggressively, how to start looking at life differently. Like nobody's going to send any monthly allowance to you. You need to start saving. You need to start providing for yourself. And from that stage on, I started finding a way to make quick adjustments from someone that was collecting allowances every month. Even though I'd finished from school then, I still got a bit of support. But from NYSC, there was cut off, complete cut off. So it was reality check for me.
I mean, to be honest, the whole man concept to me is still a new thing. But like I've noticed that as I've grown older, it seems that more responsibility has been placed and there are more expectations of me. So take for instance, even if it's from washing the dishes at a certain day to like making sure my brother comes home from school or making sure the door is locked, making sure the laundry is done and just even the simple responsibilities I've known that I've grown from just being like mommy's boy to like actually having to take care of the house.
Yes, for me, I think my experience was a different one because when I was born, I was in the midst of women in the sense that, there is a certain, what's it called? Odun, how do I put that one? They normally do in a village festival. God bless you. So you see all these little worry about wearing bead. And by that time, I have to wear bead with them, carrying all that thing. I didn't even know that I was a man. So as time goes on, where they were going, they say, no, you can't go again. You are not a man. Something like that. And you are not a woman. So I now realize that maybe I'm different from other people and that kind of thing. And moreover, being the firstborn of my mother, I can afford to do everything and a lady can do and that kind of a thing. Okay, Aki, you stay at home now. You have to behave like responsible. You take care of your little one and that kind of a thing. From there, I normally gather that, okay, I'm different from these people and the way I have to behave and that kind of a thing. And my father, being from a polygamous background, 13 wives, my mother will be telling me, your case is different. You know that kind of a thing. The way a mother you think has to be different. You have to be responsible because there are so many competitors. So I now look at myself as somebody that has to be responsible and take care of myself. My mother is not around. I know what to do and that kind of a thing. And early, they taught me how to even save. You have this, what would they call it? They call it colo. I don't know what they call it, whatever. Then you'll be dropping money there. And in another part, they will tell you can't even take anything there until at the end of the year. So you are being disciplined and training you how to, how do I put it? How to be financially disciplined. something like that. So from there, I realized that maybe I have to be different. I'm a man because I have responsibility.
Yeah. That story is very, I mean, it's very, it's something we could all, I mean, pick something from, right? Having to grow in the midst of women and doing things as like a woman. And then all of a sudden you have to realize that you're not a woman, you're a man. And you have to start doing things differently. Thank you, Dad, for sharing
God
that.
bless you.
So for me, it's just the two P's: the provider and the protector, and that has been the approach across board. If you are unable to provide, then there's a mismatch. You, in most cases, I won't really say 100%, you get to have problems in the marriage because you really don't know your role. So being a man means that you must have developed capacity to provide for the family and protect them as well. So the protection does not really mean that you need to have 6 or 7 partners. It's just that you need to provide what we call an enabling environment, such that they feel protected and safe within, everywhere around you. And because I'm the firstborn, I've had the opportunity to talk to my younger brothers growing up. And when they come to me for advice, I use those two P's to help them drive their decision taking. That before you can really say you are ready to get married, or before you can really say that you are man enough to even put yourself in a position to lead a family, you should be able to provide and protect. Every other thing, like being God fearing and all that stuff, still falls within those two. Because at the end of the day, it helps you to put your family in a position to succeed.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, I think a man is, as a man, you're someone that everyone expects you to have an answer to everything, even when you still have to, figure out things on your own. As a man, you have to take responsibility.
It's
Um,
true.
Even when you are tired, you have to show up, right? That's what it means to be a man, right? Everyone just somehow expects you to have an answer, even when it doesn't make sense. Just say something. You have to show up. You have to be a man, right? Even from when we were very little, right? When something is happening around and probably you fell and then you hit your head on something, you hear them say, "Don't cry, you are a man. You have to be strong," right? So
That's true.
from very little age, we tend to wear that consciousness of I have to be responsible. I have to show up. You are a man, right? That's what it means.
Well, to me, I think a man, you are uh, just a father, and the father is a life giver. You are the source of life. The Bible says Adam knew Eve. So you are a source of life. And a father again, as a man rather, you are a protector. You have to protect the family. You have to make sure that the family is safe and that kind of a thing. And again, as a father, you are a provider. Because no matter how the situation is, you have to provide for family, even though you will not eat. I know there was a time a friend came to me right from far away from a far place, and I said, "What happened?" He said, "I lost my job." And the point is that he said, "Let it. It's not a matter of eating this time around. Just give me money." That guy work. Okay, I'm in Canada. I thought I'm even in Nigeria. You know, that guy work from Iyanopaja to our place in Ijebu just to make sure he provide. Because he said the only thing as a family, as a man, when you look around, you can't even provide anything. No source from anywhere. Like the Bible says, it's even worse than and if when you cannot even provide for your family. Then again, as a man, you have a spiritual head. That should be you lay the foundation for your children. A spiritual head, because the Bible says, yeah, you train a child the way he should go. And in Ayafa, like he said, my brother said, as a man, they want you to be strong. You can't be weeping, you can't be crying, even though when the pain is so much. And that's the more reason, like I say, would I say, man, they die early because they can't even voice out what they are passing through and that kind of a thing. Don't cry, you are a man. Don't do say you are a man. So for you to explain your man is another thing entirely, So you bottle up. You can't say it. I know you can't do that now. You are a man. You have to make sure you provide, and that kind of a thing. Then, as a man again, like a father, you have to be a teacher. A teacher, you teach your children and that kind of a thing, what to do. And again, you have to be a corrector and a encourager. Encourage them. Don't spare the rod and that kind of a thing. So let me rest my case.
Just to add to what he said, so because of the role of a man, you are carrying a lot of crowns on your head.
That's true.
You have to be a father at the same time, an husband,
Mm.
same time as a partner, same time also a friend, all this together. A man is structured to be slightly emotionally more mature than an average woman of that
That's
age.
true.
Yeah. So um, putting this into a marriage context, and that's why I like the fact that he said you have to be an encourager. It's not as if maybe what may be going on would not affect you, but you have to stand up and be the one to encourage.
Mm.
Yeah, while you are still trying to manage the
I'm
emotional
telling you.
impact of whatever may be
Mm.
going on. So that's why I like that point, being an encourager.
I guess being a man to me is like being like a firm rock. So take for instance a rock on the beach. There are waves, and then there are like different seasons, but then the rock stays firm. Obviously, it shows cracks and all, which is part of life. Obviously, we're not going to be perfect. We're gonna deal with like certain issues. But as a man, your role is to remain not just firm, but remain as a constant support for people around you, so that they know, oh, we can depend on you, or we can trust you, we can like
That's
ask
true.
you the deeper questions.
Okay, I'll go first. Growing up, I never saw my dad cry. This is it's sometimes when I say it, it's very very strange. I never saw him cry. My dad was more of a jolly person, easygoing. Even when things were going hard, he would just put in a joke here, make everybody jovial, laugh around him. I know he went through a lot of tough times. I could see him go through a lot of tough times, but he never really cried. And I was able to embody some of those attitudes as well growing up. However, just this one incident I remember when I just got married and I and my wife we lost our first baby. Is the part that made it a bit painful. Though I was crying while I was just driving back to Lagos then. So the only thing that made it painful was um, we're going to have okay, so she was just 4 months into the first pregnancy as a young married couple. And the doctors were saying the baby was not growing properly because there was a leakage in the amniotic fluid. So at that time, we were just looking at, what are we going to do? Some doctors were like, okay, that we could manage it and stuff. So she was in the hospital for a few more months than the usual. The long story short, the part that got to me was she went through it, delivered, the baby was alive. I saw the baby, and the baby died 72 hours after. So it's a different thing if it was like after 4 months and it was flushed away. And no disregard to ladies, because I know it's also a tough experience as well. But the fact that you have to go through the entire almost 8 months, baby came, saw the baby, spent some time with the baby, even though she was in a small incubator at the time. So we're going back to Lagos to now prepare and come back and pick them back home. They said she had died, and the news was even broken to me by my mom. So my mom told me again the same statement we keep saying, you're a man. You don't have to be crying, you have to be strong for your wife because it's much more difficult for her. So I just cried for a few minutes. And for me, I'll tell you the truth, it was more of the stress we had gone through for the past 8 months. If it had happened earlier, maybe it would have been easy. And you say, oh, that's gone too well, we'll try again. I remember then the boss told me, my boss in the office, I was working with Zenith Bank at the time, he said it in Yoruba, that a woman is like the children are like the water in the pot. So you pour the water in the pot away, but another you fetch another one inside.
Mm.
You understand? He said it in
That's
Yoruba, I
true.
can't really remember. So because for
Mm.
instance the pot didn't break, it was the water
Yeah,
that
that's
poured.
it.
Exactly.
Mm.
So that encouraged me and bounce back. So maybe
Below
that's
that,
the
look
time
at
I
it,
remember
for.
crying. Then when I lost my dad too, I cried on the day he was being buried, looking at him going into the floor and that scenario just played in my head. So this man is really gone. I just cried briefly. Yeah. So those are two scenarios I can. No, it's okay.
But yeah, for me, uh, 2019 was the year that I could remember that I was I was down, fresh out of NYSC 2019. I think February 2019 I lost my dad. Very painful. But the funny thing is I didn't cry. Not even a drop of a tear, right? In 2019 February. Um, but that same 2019, I mean, I realized that yes, I have to be really responsible, right? When I lost my dad, I was just out of NYSC. I was still trying to navigate life, right? Running around Lagos, trying to find job, and then my dad passed. Then 3 months um, after February, I think that should be in May, end of May and June, early June. My mom got sick, very, very terrible. Um, and then we moved her from one hospital to another hospital to another hospital, about four different hospitals. They couldn't detect what was wrong with her. It was just losing weight, you know, right there in the hospital. I was trying to be strong, right? But it got to the point in early June, I thought she was going to die. Myself and my brother were just outside the walkway at the hospital, and we are looking at each other. I mean, we've been trying to carry on the responsibility when my dad passed, and then all of our savings in just about 3 weeks of my mom's sickness, everything was gone. And we just looked at each other and we started crying. I think we cried for about maybe up to 15 minutes, if I could remember correctly. Then we remember that we had to be strong for our younger sibling. Then we held each other and we wiped off the tears, right? And we went back into the room of the ward where she was. And we just knew that yes, we had to be strong. So I think 2019 was the toughest year of my life. Uh, that was that was the year I cried the most. Losing my dad, my mom falling sick, and it was terrible, right? But one thing I realized during that time is that it takes strength to even cry. At times we don't realize this. As men, we just want to, we want to bottle things up and be like, you don't have to cry, you're a man. Right? But it takes strength to really, really cry, right? And then that 15 minutes of tears of crying just made us, feel better, and we could carry on from there. And I mean, by God's grace, we are making progress, and we are here.
If we are saying that a man should not cry, we are just deceiving ourselves. We all have emotions, no matter whatever it is. I could remember when we married in after 1987. I think I lost my son because I came back from village. I was sick. They carried me to the village in 1987. Spent almost 3 months at the village. I came back to Lagos again, and my wife. Oh my God, this way. When I remember, I cry. To the extent that my friend was even telling me, he said, no, my friend, I carried that baby. I wanted to take the picture. There was no, what's it called? Handsome, bushy hair, and what have you, and that kind of a thing. They say seaborn. I don't know what they call seaborn. What is all this? I was confused and I cried. Thank God for my friend. I remember Femi Asumo. I said, no, don't worry now. Thank God now. You are just back from, that sickness. You were able to recover. Your wife will give another one. And when I have to pet my wife. And what happened after I cried, the funny point is that maybe people were coming to greet me, and I remember that song. That's who walk leader. So when they were coming, and the people, they came, and they saw me playing all that kind of a thing, they don't even know how to sympathize with me. That's another thing they tell me because I move on. Because the moment that I is just like, I don't even know how to say it. But to the glory of God, to the 1988, we had another one, to the glory of God. So another one again, I remember that I cried. I lost my junior brother, maybe after his 500 level. We couldn't locate him, disappear, I cried. Then the second one again, Olubu died. Then the one and the immediate brother, chief accountant in Lagos, what's it called, Ondo State, I was in her father then. And I remember my daughter came, Olamide. I cried. They say I should stop. And I remember what Olamide said, let daddy cry. And I cry. I release the emotion. And after that one, and I was praying to God. I normally do what they call a walking prayer and that kind of thing. And God was even telling me, when you pray, when I hear the prayer, you take the glory. If you pray, I don't even answer. If you that didn't want alive, who is keeping you? And I roll on the ground. I say, Father, I thank you. The night of fire, if I say a man should not cry, where this even I say, even David cry in the Bible. David cry. And the Bible says David encouraged himself in the Lord of his God. He encouraged himself. You have to cry. You release that emotion. And after that one, you move on. For me, it's good for someone to cry. Because when you don't release that cry, you bottle up. And after that is a more reason that men die early than women. In Ayafa, they bottle or they will spread their whatever because you are a man, don't cry. You are a man, don't do this. You are a man, don't move forward. You are a man, you have to do this. The moment you are doing that, you don't open up, you will just die like a cockroach. That will not be a portion in Jesus' mighty name.
Ire, have you tried? I would feel like I do. Uh, I even still remember.
I'm still a new person to this manhood thing, but I remember an experience that happened last year, and then like we lost a family member, and then so I wasn't aware of what was going on, and then I was wondering that why is mommy so moody all of a sudden, and then that's how I was just listening on the phone because obviously she also is trying to be strong for us, making sure that we are okay, focusing on school and everything. I was like, let me just have a peek or something, and then I just saw her in the closet, and then she was just crying. So in that moment, I didn't know how to feel because first off, I didn't even know what was going on. But second, the way it happened, I was just like, wow, that this is really my mom. That the mom that like arrogant, do this, arrogant, do that. The same mom is vulnerable to crying. The same mom is vulnerable to breaking down. So at that moment, I was like, I shed like a few tears or two, but I was like, I just don't want her to experience this again. And when, or recently, or not recently, but like over this last year, I just have a random outburst of tears because of the transition. Because a lot of people don't understand that the transition from a young adult to being a man is kind of, it's not scaring away, but it's something that happens all of a sudden. Because all of a sudden people are asking you, oh, what do you want to do for university? Or have you started applying for different things? And then it's like, am I doing something wrong? Am I maintaining? Am I doing what's right for my parents? What's right by God? And sometimes I just start crying for no reason at all. I'll just feel like at the end of the day, I'll wake up and I'll be like, to be fine at the end of the day, everything will sort itself out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Thank
can
you.
never prepare for it.
Mm,
It just comes.
mm,
All of a sudden, you realize
honestly.
you're not a man. It's not something you prepare for.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I would like to say that of recently now they've started implementing it more, but I still remember some experiences. So like in grade 5, I'm like not even the tallest or the biggest of stature. And I remember for some reason, I don't know what happened, my teacher scolded me or something, and then I started shedding tears. And then some of my mates were like, bro, why are you crying? So even as early as that, I was like, the whole stigma around crying is kind of weird. So even moving on to high school, I'm like trying to just maintain no matter what people say, I'm just trying to keep a firm, what's the word, a strong face. I'm trying to make sure that everyone thinks just fine. But it's become better over time. But I would say that then again, there are different societies in the world, so you don't know what other people are going through.
I'll just go. After you. For me, I think society conditions men is the way It's the way we have been conditioned. You just hear things like, "You are a man. What are you trying to tell me?" Of course, I know I'm a man. Am I not supposed to cry? Am I not supposed to have emotion? Right? I think the way society is wired, as a man, you are not permitted to be caught doing certain things. Right? That's why you will see that there are like 5, 6, 7 Mother's Day in a year, and there's just June 15th for fathers. And after that, you have to continue being a man. You have to continue to be responsible. You have to continue to show up even when you are tired, right? So I think, and of course, if you look at it as well, International Boys Day, you will hardly see all of these top establishment of companies do something significant for boys. But International Girls Day, of course, there will be flyers, there will be promotions, there will be everything because I mean, you are a girl, you are a woman, you're supposed to be protected. But as a man, you are supposed to go out there and face the elephant, right? And yeah, I think the society conditions us. But like you mentioned, I think there's been a little bit of dynamics to it now. People are beginning to realize that okay, we need to give men, opportunities, right? When we are coming up with programs, we need to be able to include boys in the programs, right? In case we need to bring, boys into all of these things as well. So things are beginning to change, but I mean, before now, it's not right. Society just expects you to be a man, and they can't even define what it means to be a man. They just expect you to be a man because that's your gender, right? So yeah, but we expect more changes in the world as we progress, and hopefully, when we start crying in public spaces as a man, people will not look at us as crazy.
So in Ayapa, we have a professional mourner now. People will cry. If you
Exactly.
can't cry, people will cry for you.
Yeah, so we should be comfortable to show our own vulnerability as a man, right? As men, and not just be conditioned as you're a man and you should be strong.
Mm.
Be strong for your mom. Be strong for your wife. Be strong for your kids. What about me? Are you not thinking about me, right? So yeah, that's what I think.
So, looking at the two environments that I want to assume that we've had the opportunity to live in, Nigeria is a capital no. So it means that because of the structure of the country as it is, there are a lot more important things. So men don't even have time to be emotional. You have to keep working and making things happen. In Canada, I've seen a bit more of awareness when it comes to mental health because if you look at statistics, and here's where it gets tricky. If you look at the total number of suicide cases that have been happening so far, there are more men, drug abuse more men, um, accidents more men, and that's because men take more risk. So as a result of that, men have to be under more pressure, and as a result of that, still they take more rational decisions because things don't go their way. And I've heard a lot of my friends are in Europe. There are a lot of programs for women, a lot of programs for children, but it's very hard for you to see any program for men. So men have to find a way to deal with whatever their issues are. But based on personal experience, I even like celebrating. So I have no issues with having 200 women, if possible, then 200 women there. I like celebrating women because we also look at the flip side. Childbearing,
Yeah,
the process of giving birth to children alone is a stress of a lifetime.
That's true.
yeah,
And you see a woman who have 8 kids. So when I think of that alone and the fact that I've lost a child before, I'm even more poised to celebrate women continuously because they go through a lot.
yeah.
But nevertheless, in this environment we're in Canada, there's a lot of awareness on mental health, finding ways to help men to be a bit more open, have more conversations, and find a way to unwind.
Basically, they're a little different. Initially, when I married, like he just said, I like to play what's it called, a strong man, that kind of a thing. I expect my wife, maybe to do virtually everything, to help is something else. When you how can you help your wife to, to go to the kitchen and that kind of a thing? You are not man enough. Are you not providing or that kind of a thing? I now realize that maybe uh, the way people are doing, especially I can use my daughter as an example, the way they do things now is different from the way we do it. They help each other. and that kind of a thing, maybe carry the baby, do all kind of a thing together on like, no, because when you do that now in that part of the country, they believe maybe you're a slave to your wife or your wife abusing something, either concussion or what is it called? Which one will you use to exchange? It's only your head that he has. So he has, something like that. So but the points are things are moving. For example, now the way I treat my wife now is different. Like I mentioned to you, I'm from a polygamous 13 wife. If you see my daddy coming, and I have you will fear you. I can't even go to my daddy. That's another thing I tell you. If I want to take anything, my mommy has to beg and do kind of a thing and whatever. But things are different. If my wife is, maybe I will ask, are you okay? Is anything wrong with you? Or that kind of thing. But the point is that, what's your problem? What did you do yesterday? You are my friend, get out. So things are changing. The way, maybe, let's say transiting, now the way they, maybe love themselves, the way they do things together and that kind of a thing. I remember one of my friends came, my wife was sleeping. He said I should go away. I said, no, let me prepare something for you. Say, you can cook. I said, what's the big deal there? Because I realized I should wake her up now. If any headache happen, it's me that will take responsibility. So, and I realize what it is, so I have to let her sleep and sleep very well, sleep very sound. But formally, just like that, my friend, it's your responsibility to come and prepare food for my friend. But things are changing. And I believe the way things are moving now, transition is very, very good because I look at them, I watch the way they do, especially even in our house, the wife will be doing something, the husband will be doing another thing, they help each other, and that kind of thing. Like people will say collabo, something like that. So everything will just be working well and that kind of thing. Because nobody is a slave, because one point is that lady is from somebody else, a daughter to somebody else, something like that. The way we treat ourselves, something like that. Our things has changed, and I believe we continue. In Jesus' mighty name.
What do you wish that the older men understood about your generation?
Concerning being a man,
Yeah, being a boy.
I can't believe I'm a freedom.
I mean, well, it's just that don't expect don't expect everyone to be open-minded to your your own opinions about to their own opinions about being a man. Take for instance, you even still opening up in this current age and time, it's still, even though it's been better, it's still looked upon as weird that you can't be showing weakness. That if young people like me are watching, they will know the kind of vocab they give several people like that. But it's just if you can control your that's just controlling yourself. I just put it that way. Like, a lot nowadays it's even worse than back then because people are actually willing to do something if their opinion is not the same as yours. So just controlling yourself to recognize that, hey, his opinion might not be the same as mine, but at the end of the day, I have to respect it, and he has to respect me. And that's just what genuine what being a man is: being able to understand the opinions of others and being able to act on it, help yourself, help your family, and help those around you.
There's different aspects to that question. Um, the, on the career path for me, if I had the opportunity to go maybe like 20 years backward, then maybe I would have been a bit more resilient and gone ahead to study medicine. That's number one. And for me, maybe come to Canada earlier. Maybe be a bit more aggressive in saving much earlier because I'm just thinking out loud. Things that I'll probably have done better. Um, Also, but so far, the way I look at life is I've not really, made bad decisions so far. You know, I've had opportunities where I felt that I was still able to take very good decisions so far, and you know, looking backward, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not doing so bad. But in life, there are episodes where I feel that, oh, I should have done this. Maybe if God had if God made me go back many years after I would have corrected this, corrected that. Even as detailed as even the choice of school that I went to. know there are some things you can't control. You can't control the kind of family
Mm.
that you were born into. But maybe you'd have been a bit more resilient, pushed a bit more, saved a bit more, maybe took some other decisions, um, tougher decisions then. They look tough then, but you never know. Just like when they ask you, did you regret? Um, I think there was a time when they were asking one of my mentors, and they were like, do you regret your career path up until today? And he told them, he said, man, if I'd gone some other path, who knows, maybe I'll still be alive today.
Mm.
So the best way to answer the question is, we may never know. Because it never happened. That's my approach.
Well, I just, I still appreciate God because what I realized by that time there was no career, counselor and that kind of a thing. You don't even know what to do. And I remember when I did admission, my father was even telling me, I want to marry another wife. I've tried for you, whatever you want to do, go and do it. But despite the fact, I believe to the glory of God, when I look back now, because I love my sibling, and, maybe no matter with the little money I had, I make sure to train all of them. And to the glory of God, some of them that cannot go to school, I give them, what's it called? Just a profession to do. When I look back now, I still thank God for it. And I say, even though I would have started early and that kind of a thing, I would have, but I thank God, because at a certain time I look around, see what of thing happen. Like he just said, it's if we are talking of if you won't even get out of it, you just thank God for where you are and that kind of a thing. And I believe basically what I like, I think I gave it to my children. And to the glory of God, it didn't even disappoint me. So many things and that kind of a thing. I look at them, I'm always very happy and that kind of thing. The way they are doing and whatever the something is. Because I remember where I work, I rode from plant to wherever I am to the glory of God, doing whatever it is and that kind of a thing. I wish I could do this, I could do that, I could do that. But when I look at those people who have even done it, I'm even better. Because I remember when we were so young and that kind of thing, some of my mates they were going to, what's it called, coming to overseas to spend the holiday and what have you, and what I wish to do it. But instead of doing it, I trained my children. And now I came to Canada now with everything that is. Ticket, pay, house, everything, whatever the something is. What I would just advise the younger one is that put God first in whatever you want to do. God first. And anything you want to do, you know, put God first. And to the glory of God, I would have loved my wife more. Even the way I love her now, I would have loved her the more. Because sometimes I look at my sibling, I say, I need to take care of my parents. But they will say it's the capacity. It's the capacity. Because the way they are taking care of me. When I remember again, my father died in my hand. I could decide how people die. That kind of a thing. By the time I went to the village and that kind of a thing, the lantern I bought, no light. The agbada, this babadigan I bought, the cap, the slipper, everything was there. And I thank God. I normally mention to my sibling, no, I don't bother about befitting burial, but I want a befitting living. A befitting living. Forget about whether you kill 20 cows or whatever. No, I want to be part of it. Something like that. So I'm advising the young one that are coming, like I mentioned, the mistake that we have made. Some of us, we don't even take care of our parents. Please make sure you take care of your parents and put God first in whatever you want to do. It matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. God bless you.
Okay, yeah. For me, I would say my younger self, I'll give myself more grace because as a child, you're expected to behave as a child, right? As a child, you're expected to mess up, miss things, miss signs where you should miss those signs. But you would also grow, you will learn, right?
Amen.
And one thing I would also tell my younger self is God's timing is always better than your own timing,
Mm.
right? At times, to us, things appear as NO, no, right? But to God, it's just not here. Because God is just trying to allow you build capacity, right? You are not there yet. I'm not telling you it's a no. I'm just telling you it's not your time. Build capacity, gather yourselves together, right? And God's timing is always there. Just
Mm.
take things calmly and slowly. You will always get
Yeah.
I guess trust your parents more. At our own age, it's looking like whatever they say, it's like they're against what we want. You say you want ice cream, mom is like, no, go and eat oranges or something. Say go and study, you're saying, no, mommy, I want to go and play ball with my friends or something. But in the long run, you'll see that what they meant is genuinely for your own good. I remember a quote that I heard. It was like, the day you can't provide for your parents is the day you failed as an individual, because they're the people that brought you there. And if you can't even take care of them when they're older, then how do you want to take care of your immediate family?
Mm.
So trusting your parents, loving your parents more, because you don't know how much time is left to them, because God could be like, your purpose has been served and it's time for you to go. So trusting your parents more and not caring so much about the opinions of others. People put so much of their lives trying to be like someone else, not focusing on the dreams that God has for them, the dreams that people have for them, the aspirations that they have for themselves, trying to chase a life that isn't what is for them, and at the end of the day, they lose themselves and the people around them. So trust your parents and just enjoy your life, and don't try and be a copy of someone else.
So I would say there are a lot of episodes in my journey that has made me kind of realize that, oh, I'm truly a father. But the one that has been more profound is, I think, the first time my first daughter was, she was in kindergarten, and I was to go and attend an event for parents. And they brought me a form and they said, you have to sign on behalf of your daughter. So I was like, oh, okay, so I can be signing these things now.
Yes.
Because that was the first time she had got into school, going for kindergarten. And then we are just, we're supposed to have a parents teacher session before school starts so that you understand the program, what the school is going to be offering. And then because it was play group then, so I just went in and I was with other parents too. Like, oh, so all these parents have kids here. Oh, okay. So they just gave us things to sign. You see your daughter's name, father's consent. So when I saw consent and I was signing, that moment was very.
But I think I remember it for me is when Olamide was born. Because my mother has been pressurizing me. People have been coming to Lagos to celebrate with their children. When will you call me? Eventually, because that day it was late. I was able in the hospital room watching my wife and that kind of a thing for the first time. And they were able to say, instead of even looking at the baby, I look at my wife. And the funny point is that maybe I went, maybe the second day to tell his brother. My wife has said, you are just coming. Assuming that your wife have operation, will you be coming now? And I was just begging. I didn't have anybody. Something like that. And I carried that baby and that kind of a thing. I never, Olamide was sleeping on my chest. I saw Cherisha and that kind of a thing. Now, I am a father. I can call myself a father. And the day we went to the hospital, I signed, my wife signed, and everything signed. I said, Father, thank you for making me the father. Because it's grace. It's grace. It's great. To be the father is grace. And that kind of a thing is a day I will never forget. I never I did the ceremony, even heaven had. Because no, honestly, I'm telling you, within the community and what have you, and that kind of a thing, father, 3.8 kg, something like this, father, you are awesome. You are awesome. So I'm now a father. I'm now a father. And I have a baby. And that kind of a thing. So that was the very day I remember. So now I'm a father. In that part of the country, until that thing happened, we are just don't mind it. They can't father. Something like that. I thank God. And I bless God for that.
Okay. I was thinking I have a I have this consciousness of who I am, right? But what marriage has shown me is that I don't even know myself. Right?
You're still figuring out.
Yeah. I don't even have an idea of who this person is, right? Because there are some days I will do some things and I'll be like, that's in flesh. That's not what God wants you to do to this woman you married, right?
Mm.
And it's still just a process of figuring out, oh, okay, so I can love like this, oh, so I can do this, so I can sacrifice this for this person, right? Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a very interesting journey of learning, right, and discovering myself. Yeah, putting myself, laying myself down for this person, right? It's been a journey of it's not just about you now, it's about this person. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to.
Yeah, probably my dad after all we said, because the things that he has gone through and the things that I've seen happen to him, it's so weird to see how he has a calm demeanor about everything. Like, I don't think I've seen him once like over exerted over an issue, or over exerted over a certain topic or something. Like, even on the road, like if someone tries to like scam him or something, just like, it's cool. Tomorrow is another day or something. So yeah, he's taught me that people are going to be people, but you just have to learn to be
Mm.
calm about everything. Yeah. So yeah, my dad.
My name is Taiwan. And one of the reasons why I'm proud to be a man, because I feel that I've been given the opportunity to lead a family, and there's a lot of responsibility on my shoulder. Um, Definitely, I depend on God to help me lead the right way. But the fact that I'm even given the opportunity to lead a family, beautiful wife, and two kids, is to me, it's a rare opportunity, and I take advantage of it.
Okay, my name is Reverend Kajiboye. Yeah. For me, I would say my children, because I'm very, very proud of them. They can, and the way I treat them and the way they were behaving, wherever they carry that name, Ajiboye, it means so much to me. And to the glory of God, if you go to Gaida today, when you mention Ajiboye, the door will be open. Not even Gaida everywhere. I remember Olamide said it was the taxi in Abuja, and they mentioned, is your father? Is your father working Gaida? He said, yes. Oh, I know your father. Your father, that honest man, that very, he was even saying, Little Bamidele. So when I see them, when that name matter to me, because that name matter to me, I carry it. I remember my mother, or rather my father told me, this name, if you can't carry it higher, you leave it as it is. As we are going to, when I was going to Lagos then, this name matter to us. Everywhere, that name, that name. And to the glory of God, I give God glory that my children have carried that name anywhere they are. I remember where Olamide worked. The boss came. He signed a check. He left during what was it called? Abacha family, problem something. He signed that check from check 1 to 2. Nothing is when he came back. He said, I wanted to see your father. Dito Bamidele, Dito Damilola. So he came to Canada. So I'm very, very proud of that name. And to the glory of God, my children expect me to carry that name. Even though it's no longer Ajiboye, it's Ibe, or it's name Ajiboye. Let's go for that.
My name is Sheikh, and this is why I'm proud to be a man. Proud to be a man because I could, you know, face fears without losing my purpose. Society puts a lot on men. You have to provide, you have to cry, you have to be a man. But I'm proud because I could face all of this tension um, without losing my integrity. Through the help of God, through faith, I could face all of the pressure that comes with being a man and still not losing my purpose. That's why I'm proud to be.
My name is Iri, and I'm proud to be a man because it shows the growth that I've had over the years. And the worst thing about not giving up is about just staying still and staying stagnant, having no hope for the future, and believing that everything is going to be the same. You're going to be the same child, and even when things change, you're not able to adapt to changes, whether it be moving countries or going to a higher education or a new job. It just shows that I've matured mentally, physically, and it shows that there's hope for other people out there who are looking at manhood as something scary. So, yeah.
I just want to advise the incoming father and even the father now that they should put God first and train their children in the way of the Lord. God bless you.
So for me, I just want to say, just my own 2 cents. So most of the men out there, for 3 cents, if you choose, is men should take it easy. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be slow about taking decisions. It's okay to get it wrong and finally get it right. The reason why is because if you're able to approach life like that, then you're not under any mental stress. I remember one of my bosses was talking to me. Then I was just living in Lafarge and I was going to IHS Towers in Nigeria. And they were doing a send force for me somewhere in Koi Club there. And my boss got up and said something. She said that I've never seen Taiwo angry. And they were asking her that. So somebody got up and said, I don't think you're saying the truth because some of our colleagues came from Flower Mills and she used to work with Flower Mills and they're like, we've never really seen a guy that is this playful, is this serious with his job, and has never been angry.
Mhm.
You understand? So there are a lot of things that they do in the office to get angry. I've seen people blow up and everything. But I just tell people, just be calm. You know, approach life with some certain ease, you know. And throughout my journey, when I've had bosses that were able to jive, where we're able to match each other with that same kind of energy, I've been able to blossom. I've been able to stay successful with that part. So, um, if I must say, men probably just approach life with, let's just say, minimal urgency. It's when there's a lot of urgency that there's panic. Minimal urgency because there's some urgency in life too. So, I'm going to take care of the rest.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hug and hiccup.
Thank you.